Hello, everyone, and welcome once again on a mellow Sunday. I am JT, aka the Master, and this is Jerry. Oh, here we go. Jerry Taylor presents the Master Plan on YouTube. Today is the last day of the combine, and my favorite position, running backs, and the offensive line, which coincide with each other. They depend on each other quite a bit. Are going to be showcased today. And I'm rubbing my hands together. I plan my weekend so I can see, so I can sit back, relax, and watch the NFL hopefuls in the running back position for this year. We have some high profile players, and we have some what I consider sleepers, guys that show up and show out. And I'm looking for the athleticism from these players. And I'm sitting back at 1 o'clock, it starts. Running backs and offensive linemen. And I'm going to be looking at the running backs. You know, if you listen to me for so long, that the running back position is my favorite position. I, in my opinion, excel in being able to pick out running backs. In fact, on nondescript running backs for the most part, running backs that have been talked about, but show out when needed to. So we're going to go into this, get into the running backs for the next hour, and then, if need be, I'll talk about my feelings if it's like that. How I feel about the other positions, quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends, because I know that offensive and defensive linemen are important to an NFL team. And in, I wouldn't say roundabout way, but in a way, an offensive line is important to a quarterback, quite naturally, protection, or a running back can be able to open up holes for him to run through. But for fantasy purpose, for what really counts, today is running backs. Yesterday was quarterbacks, wide receivers, and tight ends. So that's what we're going to go through. Okay. I'm going to be watching some replays on the NFL Network. And like I said, if time permits, near the end of this program, they talk about um, the players that performed on Saturday. But being that this is Sunday, this is Master Plan, and I did say yesterday on the FSP show, 1 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, that I would be talking about strictly running backs, and that's what I'm going to do until the end of the program when I've done what I wanted to do on running backs. Then, if time permits, we'll be talking about what took place yesterday. I tell you one thing, people. I'll say this right now, and then I'll leave it at that for the end of the show, if time permits. One individual stood out, and there's no doubt in my mind this guy is going to be underrated. There's no doubt in my mind he's got a lot of traits all the right numbers and then exceeded some numbers. And I'll talk about it at the end of the show after finish talking about the running backs. So let me bring in my co-host, I'm a yin, he's a yang. That's how it goes. It is what it is. Polar opposites, so to speak. But I'm gonna bring him in anyway. I'm feeling very good today, and I plan to keep it that way. So let me bring in Mr. Gardner, Mr. Victor Gardner, from the FSP show, the host of the FSP show. Right, like I said, 1:00 Eastern Standard Time on a Saturday afternoon. And then we're going to be talking about one of my favorite positions in fantasy football, running backs. Mr. FSP, I see your face. How you be?
Well, I decided I was going to be nice today and, put my logo up and stuff like that. The dogs and cats are all laying right here, but nobody's going to wake them up and make noise. So I decided I'll jump on.
What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean?
What do you mean? They're not going to wake up?
What are you talking about?
Wake up!
Okay. All right. Okay. I want you to remember that when Stan start growling and barking while you trying to talk. Don't you okay. Remember that. Remember that.
I remember it. Anyway. We're going to be talking about running backs, man. Running backs. It was a heck of a showing yesterday. And I expect some of these running backs to show up and show out today. And let me count these. Let me count these in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. I'm going to go through 12 running backs. 12 running backs, the top 12 supposedly, according to Lance Zierlein. And I'm going to start it off right now. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I don't know why you're going off of Lance Zierlein stuff again. I mean,
because he's a very good evaluator of talent. He's a very good evaluator of talent. And I'll go off of that. Okay. And this first one is this is interesting. His comparison, NFL comparison of Mohammed Ibrahim out of Minnesota is he's 5'7", 203 pounds. Dameon Pierce is his NFL comparison. Hard hat running back who operated with toughness, vision, and a feel for cut timing in the Minnesota inside-outside zone attack. Abraham's decisiveness stands out, but he's missing an elevated burst to clear second-level tacklers without taking bumps and bruises. He's not going to run away from NFL defenders. That's a problem if he's only 5'7". That's a problem. So creativity will be important to keep runs alive. His injury history paired with his combative running style could be a concern for some teams, but his no-nonsense running approach and innate feel for the end zone will be easy for coaches to love. And before I run you through these strengths and weaknesses, to me, this guy is a scat back, a punt returner, or something like that. He's a small man with a big man's mindset.
So Tariq Cohen.
No.
Would you?
To me, he's not a Tariq Cohen. To me, he is a who was that? The LSU running back that went to the Commanders.
Darius Geis?
He's a Garrett Dice. He's a short guy, small guy, big man's mentality in a small frame.
Well,
And
Derek Rice didn't have a small frame. He just couldn't stay healthy. That's an LSU trait for them running backs. They just don't know how to stay healthy once they hit the pros. But
okay.
continue.
Adequate size with compact frame and low center of gravity. Patient, waiting for his blocks, but decisive when they come. Efficient in reading the run lane development. Absorbs contact with squared pads and a balanced base. Hits like a hammer when finishing his runs. Talented short yardage back with the ability to find small crevices. I can understand that being 5'7". Punched in 37 rushing touchdowns over the last 20 games. That's not NFL talent. Rarely used as a receiver, but has hands to catch out of the backfield. That's going to be his trait in the NFL, other than a punt returner or a kick returner. Missing his weaknesses: missing threatening speed, flowing wide. Average burst forces him into a role of a grinder. That's not good for somebody 207 from 5'7". Not enough creativity to elude early traffic consistently. Missed all but one game of the 2021 season with an Achilles tear. Red flag. Sidelined by injury for at least one game in 4 of the last 5 seasons. So, to me, he's had Achilles. Doesn't have a big burst. Tries to be a hammer at 5'7", 207. That's not a good combination. Like I said, I see him as the punt returner, kick returner, and maybe a change of pace. What's your thoughts?
So I already told you I view him as a Tariq Cohen type person. And again, you compare him to Dameon Pierce, but Dameon Pierce wasn't used that much. Well, as often as he could have been in college. And when he got to the pros, it showed that his durability was a problem. Being 5'7", I think Kenneth Gainwell is a little taller than him.
Yeah.
So he's going to have to come and prove that he can take a pounding, but you won't be a starting running back. You're going to be a special teamer who fights for time in situations to play, a la Kenneth Gainwell. Now, Kenneth Gainwell has made the best of his opportunities, but that's what you're looking at. Even Darren Sproles, I think Darren Sproles was like 5'9", 5'8", 5'9". He did well when he was with San Diego at the time. Then he goes to Philly, but he wasn't the main guy.
Darren Sproles could never stay healthy.
I know, and that's what I'm saying about any back that is that short. And you're saying he has a big man mentality. He's going to run through the tackles and whatnot. He's going to have to find his niche, and it's going to start on special teams.
Absolutely.
That's all.
Absolutely. This guy is on the edge of, excuse me, on the edge of my ideal running back. He hails out of the College of Oklahoma. 5'9", 210. His NFL comparison is Miles Sanders. Okay. Talking about Eric Gray. Decisive, creative runner with the size and skill set for 3-down consideration on the pro level. Gray won't be a home run hitter in the open field, but his short area bursts and oily hips open access to the entire field, with cuts coming suddenly and at unpredictable angles. He's a less powerful finisher than the size might indicate and needs to keep from spilling runs wide unnecessarily. He is a reliable threat out of the backfield with soft hands and a willingness to block. Gray has potential to find work quickly as a 3-down backup with future starter potential. Before I get into his strengths, he's an OU back. And he's
so you're about to hate on him.
No. You heard me say earlier, a lot earlier, many episodes ago. My ideal back has got to be at least 5'10", and 205, 210 and up. Maxing out around 225, maybe 230,
So
depending on. Wait a minute. Let me
go ahead.
finish.
Go ahead.
So this guy, like I said, this guy's right on the edge of my ideal back. He's only 5'9", but he's 210. They say there's potential of a 3-down starter, and he can catch the ball out of the backfield. To me, change of pace. I don't think he's a 3-down back, even though the evaluation said he's a 3-down back. I don't think right now he has to prove himself. Just like I said in this, he has to prove himself to be a reliable 3-down back. 5'9", 5'9", man. Okay, he's on the edge of 5'10", 5'11", whatever, and up to 6'1", maybe 6'1" at the back. But he's got to show me that he can be reliable and can stay healthy. Because shorter backs take a pounding, and you need to be over 5'10", 5'11", and at least 205, and up to 225 to be able to be considered a 3-down back. So talk to me about Eric Gray out of your OU.
So OU, Eric Gray is. So let me put it this way. OU used to recruit various types of running backs, right?
Okay.
They used to recruit a lot of power running backs. Adrian Peterson, Murray. Well, I think Murray went to Texas, but no, Murray went to OU. But they also had dominant offensive lines. This past year was not the case. With the head coach leaving to go to USC, a lot of transfers, including the Heisman Trophy winner, left to go other places. That's why OU was not that big of a contender this year, because they were under a new system. And if you don't know, the original coach that was hired to replace Riley resigned, got fired because of a racial comment that was made. Now, was there anything meant by it? I don't know. Joe Mixon went on Twitter defending him and things of that nature, but it was a lot of upheaval at OU, and it translated to on the field. So I don't think this was the best opportunity or best time for this young running back to leave and go to the NFL. I mean, he might have been like, well, you know what? I can't stay here, but I don't know how much eligibility he had left, but I don't think he's ready to be a starting back in the NFL. He's a project.
Okay. The two backs you named, Murray and Adrian Peterson, Peterson being 6'1", Murray being 6'2". This guy is 5'9".
That's why I said we used to get power backs.
Yeah.
But we didn't after Lincoln Riley left.
Mm-hmm.
They recruited. Well, okay, so let me put it this way. This guy is going to be perfect as a 3rd down back because he has hands and he can move.
Yeah.
But unless he turns into an Austin Eckler type player, he's not going to be a day one starter.
No.
So I truly believe he needs to, or needed to, get a little bigger, get a little bit more in his resume to show that his height isn't a problem and that he can run through the tackles on a consistent basis, because OU's changed its style of play. You know, it's not throwing the ball 50, 60 times anymore. At least this year it wasn't, because they don't have the talent there right now.
Is that because of the head coach?
Yeah. So when you get a lot of 3-star, couple 4-star, and stuff like that players on your team that you recruited, Then the coach, after the bowl game, leaves. That this was last year. Or they didn't go to a bowl game last year, if I'm not mistaken. Or they went, but he didn't coach. And then Caleb Williams, your rookie or freshman quarterback, follows him that same year. You get a lot of decommits. And coupled with the change at head coach because of the situation, you get a lot of decommits.
Okay.
So they couldn't play the style of offense they wanted to play because all the offensive-minded people were gone. Now they got a defensive-minded coach. They don't have the offensive line to run the rock the way that he might want to run it because they're not designed that way anymore. It'll change over a couple seasons, but this kid probably didn't have enough time left to do that. Now,
he's a senior.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because when you go to grad school, if you still have some time, you can still play as a grad transfer. That's what I'm saying. You probably have enough time left.
Right.
But he can receive the ball well. He's a good receiving back.
Okay. Let me go through his strengths and weaknesses, and then we'll move on from there. Decisive with instant acceleration, skips generate early rhythm, jab and cuts at sharp angles without losing speed, above average spatial awareness and elusiveness inside. Loose lower half creates access to more of the field in space. Burst and wiggle, optimize chunk run opportunities, effective route runner with soft hands, just like you were alluding to, willing to step into contact with downhill blitzers. That means he's a willing blocker. Unable to drive through first level contact. He's light in the ass. Inconsistent, forcing linebackers flow on stretch plays. Lacks top end breakaway speed for home runs. This is a 4.5, 4.6 runner probably. Needs to keep runs downhill more often. Huh?
I believe he's 4.4 because he's got wheels. We'll see today, but
inconsistent to widen out and stay in front of the blitzer. Okay. So he needs to work on it. He's willing to block,
but he needs to work on it.
He needs to work on it. Exactly. That is Eric Gray, a senior coming out of Oklahoma, with comparison to Miles Sanders. Let's move on to the next one. And that would be, hold on a minute. Come on. Running back, Eric Gray. That would be. Now we're talking. This is a running back from the college champions. He's also a senior. 6 feet, 210 pounds. My eyes have been widened with this. Coming out of Georgia. But I'm disappointed because his comparison is a Ronald Jones II. I'm talking about.
I guess he ain't that hot.
Kenny McIntosh out of Georgia. McIntosh is best suited for a complementary role that allows him to explore the flanks of the offense instead of trying to pound and create between the tackles. Change of pace. He lacks the vision to recognize and exploit opportunities quickly and the elusiveness to dart in and out of developing run lanes. He's more than capable of finding big runs over the tackles and becomes a more physical finisher as the run progresses. McIntosh has excellent hands and the potential to mismatch coverages when isolated out of the backfield. He could become an RB2 with full-time third down reps. That's exactly what I'm saying. Change of pace back. Ran better with consistency as the 2022 season progressed. This is part of his strength. Impressive burst to clear the line of scrimmage. Pure speed bolsters success as an outside runner. Able to crank up a forceful finish. Above average contact balance in the open field. Very natural pass catcher out of the backfield. Able to exploit linebackers with wheel routes. Willing to step in and take on blitzers. That's key, especially if he's going to be used in a passing game, whether he's a catcher or whether he has to pass block. Pacing, this is his weaknesses. Pacing is disjointed in his approach to the line. Needs to get better at pressing the line of scrimmage. Below average recognition of block development that can be coached. Dances while processing what is in front of him. He had the tendency to run up the back of blockers. No patience. That tells me no patience. Elusiveness on the second level is just average. To me, this is about a 4-6 back. Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
I wouldn't call him a 4-6, but you just said it right there. What he needs to focus on and work on his patience. He could be like a Le'Veon Bell type player or running back,
Ooh,
but
that's high expectations.
But when you are trained to hit the hole, just hit it. That's what he's been trained to do, and that's what he does. He hits it. So if you got a pulling guard, or you got a pulling center, or a pulling tackle, he's probably going to get in front of them. He's probably going to get in front of them.
Yeah, you're right.
So his vision and patience can be taught. I look at him just like Brian Robinson from, again, Alabama, that Washington has.
Brian Robinson? Oh, okay.
Because next year, Robinson would have, this year he experienced how the NFL game is, how fast it is, or how slow it is to him, and how to have a little bit more patience and how to hit the hole harder
at the right time
and keep his feet moving, because he'll hit the hole and then you'll notice his feet stops moving. This guy hits the hole, doesn't stop his feet, but he's leaving the people behind that can easily make the holes bigger or move the obstacles out of his way.
Right.
So his run time will be pretty decent, I think, but he's a power back. He just needs to learn patience.
4-6. I'm thinking 4-6. This next guy is a 5'11", 215-pound out of UAB. Good backer with potential to develop into a starter. He is a junior coming out. Dwayne McBride, productive runner with the physical, athletic attributes that create an upward trajectory in the right situation. McBride is experienced and comfortable running in all blocking schemes. He's smooth-hipped and runs with a good blend of shiftiness and power. He would benefit from a quicker tempo and decisiveness inside. He must eliminate ball security issues. Oh boy! Or he could end up falling out of favor quickly. And when I give you the comparison, this is exactly this is, to me, it's on point. McBride's lack of third down value could hurt at draft slotting, but his upside is worth a day 3 selection. His NFL comparison is Marlon Mack, which that sounds about right, because Marlon Mack didn't have very good ball security skills. So ran for 120 or more yards in 10 of 11 games in 2022. This is the strength. Looks comfortable running behind every blocking scheme, above average vision to find what the run is offering him. Looks off tackler to buy time for his cuts. Generates collision momentum up to second level. Oily hips allow him to swivel and stride around tacklers. Able to get sharp backside cuts on inside zone runs. Power and finesse at his disposal near the goal line. His weaknesses can be a little cautious as an inside runner. Burst between the tackles is just average. Can be a little inconsistent, allowing blocks to develop. No patience or questionable patience. Fumble woes will make him a target for defenses looking to punch the ball out. Almost no pass catching experience over 3 seasons. This is a true workhorse backup. Let me put it that way. A true workhorse backup. He's not going to be used in the passing game. He has been used in the past, so he doesn't have good hands. And what I see that this guy is 5'11", 215, and is probably, and I hate to say this again, about 4.6. I can't see this guy running any quicker than that. Talk to me, Mr. FSP.
Patience, man. Now think about this. Marlon Mack's not a bad back. Marlon Mack has injury issues. If Marlon Mack could stay healthy, I think he would have been still in the mix in Indianapolis, especially after what we saw this year with Jonathan Taylor getting injured, the Colts having to go to their third string running back. Now, Marlon Mack, he did well in Texas, but he was spelling, Houston, I should say, when he was spelling Dameon Pierce, and then I forgot where he went. I don't think that's a bad comparison. What that also tells me is he's a special teamer. A special teamer.
Okay.
Third day pick. I don't know if he should have left yet, because I think this guy could develop a little bit more. That's all.
Okay. Speaking of left yet, this guy's is a junior out of Auburn. 6 foot, 213 pounds. His comparison, Carnell Cadillac Williams. Tank, and this is, I mean, he's got the perfect name, but I don't know if the name fits the person. Tank Bigsby out of Auburn. Bigsby is an upright runner with strong angular frame. He runs with a plus burst and can create yards even when the blocking is insufficient. Bigsby runs with a nice blend of elusiveness and power, and he can quickly process moments of the defense. Fumbling has been a concern. Ooh. Cadillac Williams.
Well, if you know anything, Cadillac Williams was his head coach and his position coach.
Yeah.
That's what you need to know. He was his head coach at Auburn.
Fumbling has been a concern in the past, and he might not be much help on third downs or special teams. So what good is he? His size, creativity, and quickness could create an opportunity for teams to pair Bigsby with another back to form an effective tandem in zone scheme rushing attack. That tells me he's a committee back. NFL ready frame. Rapidly processes the defensive front, able to cut and go instantly when he sees the hole, makes sharp lateral jump cuts to shift his track. Creative inside runner who can elude tacklers in tight spots, goal line. Willing and able to keep runs flowing wide to the corner. Determined short yardage runner with plus leg drive. Dismisses arm tackles with force. Goal line back. Weaknesses. Tries to do too much at times. Plays with an upright running style. Will bounce it wide a little too often. Still stiff hands as a pass catcher. Offers below average third down value. Fumbled 4 times in 2021.
Too many times.
Goal line back. This is 6 foot 213. Goal line back. That plain and simple. He's a
okay.
He's a committee back, and he's going to be used on a goal line. To me, he's a Jamal Williams
from Baltimore. Jamal Williams.
Jamal Williams from Detroit. Isn't it Jamal Williams?
Oh, okay. Jamal Williams. Okay, all right.
That may be a weak comparison, but to me, the goal.
I get the comparison. Because Jamal Williams started out in Green Bay.
Yeah.
And just this year, he showed that he could be a every down back.
His forte.
I don't got much to say other than this kid is somebody that I really think can turn heads given the right system. and he'll be more than a goal line back
What's this?
in the
What
right
system?
system.
What's this?
But right now, well, I got it because we can talk about Derrick Henry because Derrick Henry for the first couple of years was not the lead dog. He was
I
behind
understand.
Deion Lewis.
I'm not disputing you. I'm just asking you. You said in the right system. I just asked you if you have a right system in the top of your head.
Yeah, I mean, he can replace Mr. Henry in a couple of years, even though the kid they got is pretty good, or he can go to Atlanta. Perfect spot for him. Perfect.
You think he'll be able to supplant Tyler Algier?
Yeah. Yeah. Because
He has no. This guy has no hand.
Here's what I'll say. Tyler Algier's in the committee anyway. Right? So you give me a 6'2" back that's a pounder. I teach him how to catch. You don't have to catch all the time because I'm in a run-heavy offense to begin with.
With ball issues, with fumble issues.
We can coach that. Tiki Barber
had
ball issues.
When you said that, and I said that, I was thinking of Tiki Barber. You're right.
So again, it can be taught. I think he has opportunity to be explosive, but it is what it is.
This guy, the next one on my list, will eventually be an average starter. I kind of doubt it. He comes from Louisiana, Ponchatoula, Louisiana. He's coming out as a redshirt junior, I guess it is.
Yes.
Coming out of Tulane, 5'9".
This dude. Go ahead.
You know who I'm talking about.
I know exactly who you're talking about.
Oh, don't say it. 5'9", 204 pounds. I don't know. 5'9", 204. And we're talking about Tajay Spears out of Tulane. Spears has the size of a change of pace back. That's how I see him. But he needs to play with more consistent explosiveness, as he's unlikely to offer the versatility typically expected from a player in that role. He's coming off an extremely productive and consistent season at Tulane's running back one, though. He runs with good bend, average vision, and the patience to use lead blockers to his advantage. Spears possesses modest creativity and power through the line of scrimmage, but he becomes more elusive once he's up to the second level. Average 7 yards per carry during his Tulane career. Finished 2022 season with 21 total touchdowns. Runs with good bend and smooth change of direction. Adequate field vision through the line of scrimmage. Can make sharp cuts on the second level. Runs defenders into blockers. Makes cuts off the hip of blockers with good timing. That means it sounds to me like he's got pretty good vision. Okay.
And power.
Okay. But his weaknesses are average recognition and imagination as a runner. Tends to lack early pace and decisiveness. Doesn't have much run-through power in his legs. Hands are slippery and unsure as a pass catcher. Significant knee injury history will require examination. Okay. 209. 5'9", 204. Doesn't have a comparison here, but my comparison would be an Austin Eckler.
So, let me explain. Have you looked up Tulane's record?
No.
Okay. Tulane became a ranked team because of this guy. If you want to see what he's really about, look at the bowl game they had this year.
Against?
Who did Tulane play in the bowl game? I forgot who they played, but it was a fellow ranked opponent. So top 25. Tulane, I believe,
Tulane
went
played who in the bowl game?
11. Say again.
Tulane won 46-45 on
USC.
January 2nd against USC.
They played USC.
And got a question for you. Who's the quarterback for USC? The
Khalid
Heisman
Williams.
Trophy winner, right?
Williams.
Yeah, the Heisman Trophy winner, right?
Okay.
And USC had a very, very talented team. USC actually was supposed to go to the college football championship until Utah upset them in the last game of the season, or second to last game of the season. This kid pretty much took over the game in the second half and beat USC. I didn't say Tulane beat USC. I said he beat USC.
Well, I have the stats right in front of me because I wanted to, because you talk so highly of him. 17 carries, 205 yards, and 4 touchdowns.
Yeah. Against USC, who aren't slouches. Top 4. No, I think they finished like number 8. But then after they lost to Tulane, I don't know where they dropped to. But that was the bowl game, so it really didn't matter.
Okay.
But he took over the game, is my point. Because Tulane was not running him early on in the game. They were like, okay, well, now we're down. Teams throw to get back into games. Tulane ran to get back into the game. You read 17 carries. Most of those happened in the second half.
12.1 yards average.
Mm-hmm. And he was getting hit. He was running through tackles.
And he only caught 1 ball. So they were just giving the ball 17 times.
Yeah.
He only caught 1 pass.
That's why I was saying they ran to get back in the game and eventually win it. But in the first half, they really didn't do much with him.
Okay. So in your opinion, what's his 40 speed?
Oh man.
What's acceptable? Let me put it that way. That makes it easier.
Because with his knee issues, though, that's the thing people are going to be worried about. Because I compare him to Todd Gurley. That's what I compare him to.
Okay.
And Todd Gurley wasn't the fastest, but Todd Gurley ran with power and speed and could run away from people. Like Jerry Rice. He was never super fast, but he could run away from people. So he might be a 4.5, 4.6 guy. But when he got those pads on and people don't want to tackle him, he turns to a 4.3.
4.3? Really?
He's not a 4.3 guy. But what I'm saying is
he gains speed.
Yeah, because if you're not tackling him, because he's like a runaway freight train, right? Freight train ain't that powerful if it's not moving. But when it gets going, hard to stop.
Little engine
Very
that
hard
could.
to stop. How?
Little engine that could.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. This next guy, I'll put a star next to this guy. I'm gonna put a star next to this guy. I'm gonna be watching out for him, and I can guarantee you, he'll more than likely be on my fantasy team in the later rounds. More than likely.
Okay.
Hell out of UCLA is a come on, load up. God, 6'1", yo. Oh my God, this is a no-brainer to me. 6'1", 220. Hails out of UCLA.
Worried about sizes.
6'1", man. 6'1", 220. Come on, man. This is oh God.
Are you okay? Do I need to give you a moment?
I'm not okay But I
I need to give
disagree.
you a moment.
I disagree with the assessment. AJ Dillon, the comparison will eventually be a starter. I'm talking about Zach Charbonnet out of UCLA. Upright runner with an outstanding body composition and consecutive seasons of impressive production for the Bruins. Charbonnet is a bit of a long strider with slightly below average foot quickness. He is much more effective when allowed to open up and build downhill momentum. Yeah, he can slip tackles in the open field, but lacks the first level wriggle to get too cute. He's inconsistent in processing defensive fronts quickly, but can be a hammer into and through contact when he has a clear point of entry. Charbonnet is a talented third down option as both a blocker and pass catcher, and he could be viewed as a day two value with 3-down potential. Carries weight comfortably across powerful build, patient waiting for blocks to develop inside the scheme, surprising build-up speed as an outside runner, picks up a head of steam as the run progresses, can slip one tackler and run through the next one, above average ball security, runs a variety of routes with plus catch radius, will throw heavy hits at blitzers. He's very good pass blocker. That means he's a 3-down back, possibly. Has hip tightness, forces a more upright gait, average acceleration getting between tackles, below average instincts on inside runs, can be a little indecisive reading stretch plays, lacks gather quickness for quick cuts, struggles to hit the gas when feet are forced to slow. I disagree with A.J. Dillon. I think he's more of a Leonard Fournette. Talk to me.
I don't like him.
Okay.
I'll put it this way. On goal line rushes, I've seen him get stood up because, as you just read, upright, running, right? The quarterback had more goal line rushing touchdowns than he did. Now,
was that design or out of need?
A little both. A
Okay.
little both. A little both. Guy has power. Guy has size. But they threw the ball a lot to move it. UCLA did. The running back's good, but I don't think he needs to lower his pad level. My opinion. If he's going to be an A.J. Dillon type player, lower his pad levels and run through the tackler. He's upright. Eddie George type, but without the shiftiness of Eddie George, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying.
Okay.
All right, and I got the next guy coming up. He comes down to Texas A&M. This is a special teamer, in my opinion. 5'9", 185. 5'9", 185, and he is a special teamer, in my opinion. Texas A&M, Devin Achane, who is compared to another good special teamer in Leon Washington. Finding a player comparison for a change is challenging because he has blazing speed and is fearless as an inside runner, but is very small by NFL standards. Like I said, 5'9", 185. He has a creativity and burst to create chunk plays, but durability concerns will likely limit the time of carries the team is willing to give him. Special teamer. Achane can be a complementary slasher with the ability to mismatch coverage out of the backfield or from the slot. However, he's simply too talented and explosive as a runner to be confined to gadget duty. History does not favor backs his size, and that's the reason why I don't like 5'9", less than 200-pound backs. But his playmaking potential could be tough to pass up on day 2 of the draft. His strength, or he trusts his feet, allowing for additional calm early in the run, runs hard between the tackles, big runner, a big runner mentality, and a small runner in reality. Quickly cuts across the grain, can ruin linebacker reads, puts together disappearing acts in tight quarters, finds his own pathways if it's not blocked for him, sprinter speed to outpace bursts, pursuit wide and hitting long runs, able to stack cuts without losing momentum, can line up in the slot and beat cover with routes. Weaknesses: muscular but small by NFL standards. Size and playing style could create durability concerns. Can be a little too patient at times. Will drop passes that are outside his frame. Doesn't have a wide catch radius. That's what it's saying here. Willing but smallest to match up against linebackers in protection. In my opinion, he's a special teamer. I don't. You can use him sparingly in the offense, but he's not a consistent contributor in the offense. Talk to me about uh, Devon Chain.
I don't have much to say because I
Okay.
don't know.
Okay.
So I'm not going to talk about him.
Okay. No problem. Uh, let's move on to the next guy. And we're running up on time here. And it would be this guy. Oh, let's go to this guy. He is a coming out of Pittsburgh, a junior, 5'11", okay, 215. Will eventually become a starter. You'll like this one. You will really like this one. His NFL comparison: Isaiah Pacheco.
Will I like it? I don't know.
I'm surprised you
But
didn't
go
look
ahead.
up when I said that. Zone scheme runner with early down size. This guy is Israel Apikanda. Uh, Apikanda can be a little inconsistent with his reads and tempo early in the run. However, he has a plant and go ability and is able to snap off cuts at tight angles to elude short area traffic when needed. He has terrific top end speed to gas a poorly fitted run front, but he needs to run with better discipline and downhill decisiveness to stay ahead of NFL speed. He isn't much of a third down option, but he does have the size and talent to compete for a 2-3 slot early with the chance to move up the depth chart in time. His strength: he ran for more than 100 yards in 9 of his 11 games last season with 20 rushing touchdowns. Lateral jump cuts to elude backfield pressure. One cut talent with feet for tight breaks. Locates lane opportunities on the backside. Come on.
Oh, yeah, there's your phone.
Impressive escapability in tight quarters. Access to instant acceleration when he needs it. Usually spin move for contact balance and to wiggle away from tacklers. Former sprinter with breakaway speed in the open field. His weaknesses are change of direction is more segmented than fluid. Runs with hurried tempo, bypassing timing of block development. Fails to press the line of scrimmage deeply to manipulate linebacker flow. Urgent but not overly creative early in the run. Can be a little inconsistent as run finisher despite his size. Has trouble keeping rusher in front of him in pass protection. So all of his weaknesses look like they can be coached for him to be a better, more patient runner, and a better pass blocker. But Isaiah Pacheco is that's a nice comparison for 5'11", 215 junior. Talk to me.
I don't think the comparison to Pacheco is accurate. I think Pacheco has a lot of speed and a lot of power. and he was underrated and not drafted early on for specific reasons. So the comparison is, in my opinion, based on size, not ability.
Okay.
I'm a wait and see on this guy. That's what it is. I'm a wait and see type.
Okay. As we go up the chain leading up to the number one, these guys have what I like in common. They're 5'10", 5'11", 6 feet. As in this next guy is 6 feet, 215-pound junior out of Mississippi. Will eventually be an average starter. It's Zach Evans, and his comparison, Melvin Gordon. Evans' career average of 6.9 yards per carry demonstrates his home run ability, but nagging injuries have limited in the last 2 seasons. Teams will need to examine his injury history and determine whether it's a concern for them or not. That's Melvin Gordon. He has lead back size, impresses with the willingness to fight through contact for additional yardage on most runs. His vision and creativity are average at best, but the talent traits should put him in contention for early carries as a very good complementary back with future running back one upside. His strength, body composition of an NFL lead back at 6 feet, 215 pounds, my ideal. Can bounce, runs wide, and beat pursuit to the corner. Quick to process and elude versus penetration. Slashes through leg tackle with contact balance. Top end speed for long house calls. Consistently adds yards to the carry with power. His weaknesses: below average processing and responding to defensive fronts. Rarely presses line of scrimmage on zone plays. Hip tightness limits crispness of cuts on wide flowing plays. Lacks creativity on the second level. That's pretty much what Melvin Gordon is, a straight ahead runner. He's not too elusive. Fumble rate is concerning. Talk to me about Mr. Zach Evans out of Mississippi, 6 feet, 215 pounds.
I'll tell you, he's a good receiving back. He's a good receiving back. I don't believe there's a lot of good backs in this draft. That's just me.
I beg to differ, but
not first round, but first day starters. I think a lot of them are projects. That's just the way I feel about it.
Okay. Well, this next back comes out of a storied college, a very successful college program, and I'm liking this guy a lot. 5'11", 200 pounds, right on my edge, but he's acceptable to me. 5'11", 200, out of
He's
Alabama.
acceptable to you.
Absolutely. Jahmyr Gibbs. You like this one. His NFL comparison. And if he goes to the right situation, he may be the second of Alvin Kamara. While Gibbs might not be the engine of an NFL running game, he's more than capable of adding juice to the offense. He's a slasher who can stretch defenses wide, and he has the wiggle to elude tacklers in space. However, he could see his effectiveness diminish inside. Gibbs might be better off with a more measured carry count as an RB2, but his versatility and pass-catching prowess will give creative play callers an opportunity to exploit certain personnel groupings and find mismatches in space. He needs a offensive coordinator with a lot of imagination. That's what's telling me with this guy. Speed creates ability to widen field for play callers. Runs with instant acceleration and gliding strides. Light, quick feet for sudden lateral cuts. opens the corner by altering tempo and strive to stall pursuit. Wiggle result in low success rate for open field tacklers. Mismatched weapon in the passing game. Route running makes him a tough cover in man. Hands are natural, soft, and sure. Above average potential as a kick returner. Now, he may be used as a kick returner early in his career, but eventually I think he becomes a starter. Let me put it that way. That was his strength. His weaknesses: flashes of decisiveness, processing inside runs, looks for cuts when the track lacks traffic, below average feet for blocking development, missing contact power to get tough yards, might lack the frame for consistent blitz pickup. Talk to me about Jahmyr Gibbs out of Alabama, 5'11", 200-pound junior.
I'll say this. I compare him to Mark Ingram.
Oh,
That's my comparison.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Ooh, I don't like that.
Meaning you're gonna get a couple good years out of him. But then it's over.
Really?
That's what I feel about
Well,
it.
let me put 5'11", 200 means he can put at least 10 pounds on when he gets to the NFL.
Okay.
And to me, it's the eventual plus starter at the NFL level. He's got to go to the right situation, as in most of these backs have to go to the right situation to get the most out of their skills. But he looks like he needs to be used in the passing game a lot. If he's compared to Alvin Kamara, he's got good hands. So we'll see what happens. But he's my number two. My number one, quite naturally, you know who number one is. And
yes, everybody's number one.
and most everybody's number one, right? Okay, and that would be he comes out of Texas, and Texas running back, and his rating is by far the best out of all the running backs, including the last one I talked about, Gibbs. 6 foot, 222. Man, a junior, year one starter. And his comparison, I don't know about this one. Josh Jacobs. I don't know about that. But he well, let me put it this way. In my opinion, he's a pass catcher. He can catch the pass better than Josh Jacobs. Jacobs is not a big pass catcher. So full menu back, blending a smorgasbord of position-specific traits that allow him to affect games. Robinson is well built with a compact lower half and pairs a lower center of gravity with agile feet. There are elements of both fight and flight in his running style, but defenders can never be quite sure what they're going to get. He's a capable inside-outside runner with a unique footwork to stack moves and reset pathways, but he can plow into tacklers at a moment's notice using elite contact balance to keep the run rolling. He might need to dial back efforts to search out big runs so frequently and take what is there a little more often to keep him from getting bogged down. His pass catching talent ensures the opportunity for Robinson to see a high number of touches. He has the chance to become one of the more productive runners in the league. 3 down back with exceptional talent in all phases, going down his strength. Owns a variety of footwork tools to alter pace, direction, and power. Feet are fast and fully connected with his vision for optimal results. Resets run, track with sudden jump cuts against penetration. Runs low to the ground and possesses rare contact balance. Ability to stack moves adds a level of unpredictability to his carries. Pinballs off of angle strikes and can rip through leg tackles. Pairs instant burst with solid top end speed. Finishes runs with authority. This is a lot of strength. Soft hands and a nightmare to deal with on wheel routes. Now let me and I'm gonna go down his weaknesses, which is only the 4 weaknesses they have, which is the less of all the backs that I named. I'm gonna tell you what I compare him to. from what I heard, what I see of his strengths. Might need to quicken operation time against speedy NFL defenses. Occasionally looks to better deal run lanes when he should be finishing. Needs to run with more decisive plant and go mentality. Needs more consistent urgency in pass protection duties. This guy, his traits, his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield and to have a nightmare on wheel routes. One of my favorite backs in the league. I'm comparing him to CMC.
No.
Okay.
Listen, we talking about the same guy from Texas, right?
Bijan?
Yeah,
Bijan Robinson, yes.
not CMC. CMC was shifty. Bijan Robinson is a power machine back. Can he catch? Yes. Is he a prolific catcher like CMC? No. I'm not splitting him out in a wide receiver in the slot or whatever and trying to do things with him. No. I'll throw him screens. I'll even throw him some angle routes. I'll throw him some swing routes. But I'm not running him on no post corner, nothing like that. This guy is, let me run you over. Let me prove my point. He's the reason why Texas had the record they had. Now, I will agree that this is your prototypical running back. He fits your wheelhouse, so to speak. But I disagree that he's a CMC type. I think of him more of a, not even an Aaron Jones. I think of him, but he runs like Aaron Jones. I'll put it that way. He runs like Aaron Jones.
And in that fact, he can catch the ball.
I didn't say he couldn't. I'm just saying I wouldn't put him in that situation to be like Aaron Eckler or CMC. I put him like Dalvin Cook. That's a better.
No.
That is definitely a better example of what Bijan Robinson is. He is Dalvin Cook.
Well, let me ask you something. If he's Dalvin Cook, has he been injured in any way in his career in college?
I think the last couple games this year he was.
Okay.
I don't believe he had an injury history.
Dalvin Cook has an injury history, including an ACL in college, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right about that?
But I'm just telling you, my comparison is Dalvin Cook.
Okay. No problem. You're entitled to your opinion, but he my comparing to CMC. He may not be up to the level of CMC, but to me he's close. And the fact is, in my opinion,
okay, I'm gonna let you give yours.
Going to the right situation, going to a back-friendly offense, he can be a CMC.
So I'm gonna ask you this, JT, since that's your opinion. I know you don't watch college football. You've said it many times on this show and the other show. So what have you seen? Not heard or read, what have you seen of this man's gameplay to compare him to CMC? Because I've seen him play at least 5 times this year.
Okay.
But I want to know what you've seen to compare him to CMC. Not Zerlander, whatever his name is.
Lance Zierlein.
Yeah, there you go. I mixed his name up. My bad. Not what he wrote, but what have you seen?
I've watched video on him. I have watched video on him over ever since I knew he was coming out. I've watched video on him, and
so, clips or games is what I'm asking.
Clips.
Okay, clips. That's what I thought, because the clips are dynamic. They are. In the games, he's good. He's very good, but his hands are not his biggest prowess. Even though I believe he was their second or third leading receiver on the team from the angle routes that they ran with him.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. If you get a back friendly offense,
I get it, but you can't use him like CMC is what I'm saying. CMC,
okay.
And CMC is not a between the tacklers 20 times type of guy. He can do it, but not on a consistent basis. We talked about this many years. But this guy is a 20 times between the tackles type running back who can catch the ball as well. But you do a disservice to him by not running him as opposed to expecting to catch. That's why I compare him to Dalvin Cook.
I beg to differ. Just because he can run in between the tackles and he can catch the football out of the backfield, you're not doing him a disservice by using him to catch the ball out of the backfield. What any offense with a dynamic player projected this guy, you want to be able to get the ball in his hands any which way you can. So
no, I don't disagree with you, but at the detriment of who? Your receivers, your tight ends.
Wait a minute.
That's my point.
Wait a minute.
That's my point.
It's not the detriment of anybody because
it is.
No, it's not, because you're trying to move the ball down the field. So just like CMC is incorporated into the offense, it's not a detriment to any tight end, George Kittle, or Brandon Ayuk, or
hold on. You gonna compare CMC's entire career just by what he did in San Francisco? I'm talking about his entire career when he was with Carolina.
Okay,
because if you look at that, it was to the detriment of DJ Moore.
No,
it was to the detriment of the tight ends.
No,
to the detriment to any other receiver on that team.
I beg to differ because the simple fact is they lacked a quarterback. So he's not at the detriment. So they had to use the best offensive weapon they had.
Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to tell you about this guy.
That has nothing to do with him. That has to do with the quarterback.
But listen, Jerry, they had to throw the ball to CMC. They had to.
Because the quarterback ability wasn't there.
So Brock Purdy also threw the ball to CMC too, right?
Okay.
So you're saying the quarterback ability wasn't there. My whole point is that Bijan Robinson in college was a CMC-like player, but is not a CMC-like player.
Okay.
Meaning he is more of a Dalvin Cook type guy who is better at running the ball between the tackles. And if you're going to use him more so in the passing game, you hurt the team because then the rest of your receiving core, whether it's tight ends or wide receivers, aren't receiving those passes because you're dumping it off to a guy that's going to, instead of delivering a blow, he's going to have to absorb a blow to keep going. That's what I mean. Dalvin Cook delivers a blow when he rushes the ball. When Dalvin Cook catches the ball, he's dynamic in the open field. But he's better at running the rock, whereas CMC is better at receiving the ball and being shifty than he is at being a full-fledged, let me get the ball 20 times a game at running back type player.
Okay, we can agree.
That's what I'm trying to show you.
We can agree to disagree.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. I like him as a Dalvin Cook type player. I didn't say he couldn't be a CMC, but he's more of a Dalvin Cook player. That's all.
He reminds me of a CMC. He reminds me of a CMC. So
okay,
using it the right way, this guy can be the second coming of CMC, in my opinion. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. It's a little past the hour, and we went into all the running backs that are going to show up And let me ask you, B. John Robinson,
Here we go.
40 time. No, I'm just asking. 40 time. I said,
Oh, I have no clue. I have no, because that kid is muscle, and sometimes all that muscle can slow you down.
4.445. That's what I'm looking at. I don't think it goes past maybe 4.55. Somewhere.
Yeah,
around.
I can see that. I can see that.
All right. Anyway, I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for being so pliable today. I appreciate it.
I know that somebody didn't call me yesterday or send me a text or something, but that's okay. That's okay.
I was too busy having fun, man.
I know.
Busy having
And you probably cashed out a few tickets at the
Nope.
window.
No, I didn't. I was highly disappointed. I had very bad luck yesterday. So I came
Oh,
home with my
so did I.
head hanging down. My wife came home with her head hanging down, but we did have a good time with each other. That's what counts.
Yes.
So, all right. I want to thank you. Join me next week, or we talk about more fantasy, or more fantasy. Oh, here we go. More fantasy relevant.
Oh no, don't talk about my cats now.
More
Don't talk about my cats and
more
dogs
fantasy
now.
relevant players on the 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, exclusively on YouTube. Mr. FSP, before we leave here, what are you going to be talking about next Saturday? You have any idea?
Next Saturday, here's the deal. There's going to be some talk for free agency. It's free agents, right? I'm also going to talk about March Madness. So I need you to start looking at some of this college male basketball. I know you look at the female basketball. I got it, college. But I need you to look at some male college basketball. I appreciate
You
that.
have no idea how hard that is for me. You have no idea. No idea. I don't watch NBA. I don't watch men's basketball in college.
You don't watch college anything other than female basketball.
Yes.
That's what. That's why I'm asking you.
Okay.
To watch.
I'll try. I'll try. Let me put it that way. I'll try.
You got the Big East tournament right there in your neighborhood. You got so many other tournaments going on in your area. Come on now.
You're right. You're right. And it doesn't make a difference whether in my area or not. I don't attend them live, and I don't watch them on TV. But most people, even if they're in the area or not in the area, watch it on TV. So it doesn't make a difference whether it's in my area or not. It's mainly watched on TV. So I'll try, man. Let me put it this way.
Thank you.
I'm not a big college.
I know. That's why I asked. I know.
I'll try.
This is why I asked.
I may be lacking in that venue, but it is what it is. I'm an old man stuck in his ways. What can I tell you? Anyway, no, I'm not. I'm not going to say that. I'm not. I'll keep my mouth shut. I'll keep my mouth shut and go and leave this program on a high note.
Thank you.
I'll do that.
Thank you. So that's what we're doing next Saturday. It's going to be free agent talk as well as some men's college basketball talk, and any news that pops up.
Let me ask you something, real quick. Where does he end up? Will he stay or?
I already told you. I believe he's going to Atlanta.
Okay. You still believe that? Your mind hasn't changed on that. That's why I asked you that.
Yeah.
Okay. What about two guys that come to my mind that are either, more than likely going to be traded? I don't think either one of them are free agents. I could be wrong. Brandon Cooks, DeAndre Hopkins.
I don't care about Brandon Cooks because he's not consistent enough for me. DeAndre Hopkins, like I said yesterday, the word is that they're trying to reunite him with Deshaun. So if that happens, I don't know who or what they're going to send to send Arizona, because Amari Cooper.
That'd be a dynamic duo. Amari Cooper and DeAndre.
No, that's what I'm saying. I don't think they would keep Amari Cooper with him
Oh,
because you can't afford them both. Plus, Njoku just got paid. Plus, Watson's on for $56 million for the next 4 years. 5 years, I should say. So you can't afford to keep them both because they got to absorb the contract of Hopkins. So if they get him, Cooper's gone. That's what I would think.
well, they've been doing creative financing for a while, so we'll see what happens.
Oh yeah. Oh,
And
yeah.
I think they're in the minus column in the cap space, if I'm not mistaken. So, all right, it's been real. Thanks for joining me. See you, people.
Bye. Oh, I thought that was some Katy Perry.